As in Utah, when I was a boy, everybody knew what a downwinder was. We were the anti-nuclear capital of the world. I was an autistic kid. My father was a drafted United States Marine, an incredible man. I come from an incredible family. My uncle stood on Omaha Beach on D-Day. I grew up on a huge ranch out by the lake. He was a beautiful, incredible person. He was at Pendleton, combat ready, and they were human guinea pig. They were marched into the trenches in Nevada. They're called atomic veterans. He nearly died at the blast. Between 1951 and 1968, we had 300 open-air tests. Well, as different scientists started to write about this, Wallace Stegner was at the University of Utah at the time. I got to know him. Edward Abbey was hanging around here. I got to know him. I got to know all these environmentalists, and I was an environmentalist, and it was a passionate, intense subject matter there.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Plumgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. Plumgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. They'll be calling you a radical. May God have mercy on all of your souls.
Nuclear power was evolving. We were promised, oh, this can't happen. It will never happen. We cannot have a meltdown.
Well, good morning to corrupt America. The most corrupt place and the corrupt nation on the face of the earth is, I guess they force people there. You know, the old days of honest days, work for honest day living, they left when Bill Walmart Clinton signed. Even before that, it started to erode. So, you know, there's working guys out there, working people, but, you know, they exploit them. Most of them are so-called illegals. When it's against the law to pay illegal, we don't need new laws. We need a culture that fucking has some integrity. They have none. This place, I have a lot to talk about, a lot of sad news. I mean, you look at it, I say, on day one, Fukushima. On January 1, my New Year's call for the year, you know, prediction, the year of reckoning. So many people are going to die of leukemia. I mean, isn't it amazing to me that as people are dying of these horrible cancers, celebrities, people that could make a difference and make a voice. You know, David Bowie made some pretty powerful art, really powerful art. And that's some powerful stuff that he did. Really powerful. I wish he would just gone a little more in the thesis of who caused it. The actor passed, 69, from Harry Potter, Die Hard, you know. Not a peep. These people are just go quietly into the night without fighting. I mean, they fight. Don't get me wrong, fighting. I mean, they're obvious fight, but they refuse to take on the people that give it to them. It's unarguable. It is absolutely unarguable. We said nuclear is going to catch up with us one day. You know, did it. I mean, if the writing was on the wall, it caught up with this. Even without Fukushima, the nuclear waste story, but the American populace, who knew, even back a generation ago, and I remember old school activists, you know, in the 70s would say this, how can you predict how the next generation is going to act to anything? You know, it's obvious. People used to say it. Look, these baby boomers are spoiled, rotten children. I mean, the old-timers, they would say, I'll be glad when I'm checked out when these guys, you know, take the field. It was all predicted that they would be so selfish they would refuse to deal with the reality. And if you don't believe that's true, you're ignorant. Look, wars they refuse to pay for. Go bomb, kill, 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 kill. 0% interest rate forever. I take a pill for everything. They refuse to deal with anything hard, anything reality. They're like little kids. You were handed a country, the United States, the baby boomers. The generation before us was the same country. No debt. Zero debt. Increasing nominal wages from 19 1945 to 1979. So tons and tons of equity. Lots of equity. Tons of goodwill. Blow the equity. Blow all the goodwill. That ain't enough. Let's tap the next generation's economic future. So let's bury them in debt, $19 trillion debt. Let's keep the interest rate at zero forever. Let's just greed. Let's exploit illegal labor to build my fake house. Let's switch to fake stucco that's full of mold. Let's switch to fake rock that's stuck on it. Let's just Chinese cheese. Let's send our jobs to China and just let's have slaves in Indonesia peeling our shrimp so we can eat it. It's disgusting what we've evolved into. I mean, it used to be like when Kathy Lee Gifford got caught using sweatshop in Haiti, people freaked out. When Nike got caught, that wasn't that long ago. Now look, people totally accepted. And not accepted, that's the way it's supposed to be. We are better than, it's a selfish, immoral, disgusting, and I'm not talking sexual, I'm talking in the reality. The abuse of your fellow human being. It's pure selfish. Not only did they bury the next generation in economic nightmare, look what people are doing. Serving coffee. There's no jobs. That's why they're all going to school and burying themselves in debt. And then academia is just taking advantage of that. Bubble, they're exploiting it at all costs. It's all baby boomers and echo boomers. They don't care. They're selfish. It's not going to happen to them. And then you get a job, the serfs that work for the government. Now you think about them. Now you think about the mass die-off of the animals across the spectrum in the last few years, post-Fukushima, in a very acute, dramatic way. All the eagles here, the moose, the starfish, gone, the pool's empty. All documented mystery disease. As I said the day Fukushima happened, get ready, for you're going to see the Great Pacific Genocide. These are massive, acute. These are not chronic. The Earth heating up in a chronic way, well, it's heating up. That's chronic. That takes time. These deaths are massive and acute. This is something acute, just like cancer. You got chronic leukemia? Yeah, get on your alternative diets, do everything like that. You'll probably live a very, very long time. It's very treatable. Get acute cancer. It's on. The young man from Butler made that incredible run in the NCAA tournament. Butler makes it to the Final Four 2 years in a row. National championship game. Pretty amazing story. Incredible athlete. 25 years old. Everything right. Playing professional basketball in Lithuania. Because, Johnny, you're going to play in the NBA. Now, a lot of great young athletes play basketball in Europe and have incredible careers in their lives. He's playing in Lithuania. It's non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Now, did he know that Lithuania is so nuclear contaminated? I'm sure he has no idea. Did he know that they dumped nuclear fallout all over that place? The Tsar bomb, Chernobyl, dumping the empty plutonium factories of Russia that got abandoned. We'd two malicious dumps blowing up near the Lithuanian border. Did he know any of that? Now, why him and not his teammates? Well, it's obvious. It's by feeling, just like me. Why did I get it? And my brother not. Well, there was two twins in there mutated. The exposure to my father, it's amazing how that DNA lines up. It's like a ladder. Was his mother probably exposed during pregnancy? Father, more than likely. When you get AML or you get chronic cancer, not chronic, acute. Non-Hodgkin lymphoma is so evil. And AML leukemia, they're twin cousins. And there's so much more AML leukemia and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma out there than any statistic will show, and I'll tell you why. Because it starts like that, and then it'll get cause of death liver, cause of cancer, brain cancer, liver cancer, lung cancer, all these different well, that's where it capitulates. It's in your blood, it's everywhere, and then you don't even know it. Boom. When it gets to the brain, it's on. When it gets to the pancreas, it's on. When it gets to these different organs, it's on. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in the lymph nodes. It got into my lymph nodes. Fimbo Peterson, I'll never forget, he comes in, I'm like, why I'm under treatment, why I'm under chemo. And let me tell you something. If you start getting growths that grow while you're under the heavy hammer, you are screwed. So I panicked. I said, look, my right lymph node is swelling while I'm under chemo a little bit. He's going. He says, oh, my God, it's there. I'm like, yeah, not good. They tweaked the chemo a little bit, and I don't know if they got it. But very sad. Those are 25-year-old athlete, do everything right, should never freaking die. We know. So when you go in, you fill out these pamphlets. These pamphlets are big, thick, heavy pamphlets. It's by the United States government. I filled it out. All patients do. Every question on there is about exposure. Exposure to benzene and to a nuclear file. It's about your parents' exposure. It's about where you lived. It's about your exposure, where you work, your work. Every single question. They know. That's what's so evil about this. They chose money over life because it kills them too. The arrogance. It's selfish because people think it's not good. It's us against them. The police forces are out of control. It's us against them. They're not part of the community anymore. Okay, for instance, this happened to me yesterday. I'm so disgusted with culture. So a year and a half ago, my furnace goes out. You know I'm fighting leukemia in and out of that hospital. You know I'm traveling around doing my activism, fighting off at leukemia. So my brother hires Barlow, a company here. And this young salesman comes out, and I'm home. And my brother says, well, I'll be paying for it. My brother said he'll pay for it. So the kid says, I said, well, you know, I got leukemia, blah, 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 blah. You know, and he's like, well, we'll get exchange out. He says, we have a furnace here, you know, that we can knock $200 off of. And I says, why? And he says, well, it has a little ding in it. When we took it out of the box, it got a little ding. So that's it? That's right? It's a brand new furnace, everything? Yeah, just when it come out of the box, got a ding. Yeah, whatever. You know, my brother handled it. Yeah, you know, $3,200, just a little. My house is small. You know, took it out, put it in. I mean, two guys there for a few hours. So yesterday morning, my furnace goes out again. It's cold here. I'm like, what? It's brand new. So I call them. They come out in the middle of the day, and a real honest, nice kid. You can tell. You know, you got a gut. When this kid selling them before was talking, you know, I told my brother, you know when somebody's lying to you. I had a guy. I said I didn't know how he was lying, but I knew he was lying. But this kid was a good, straight up, honest kid, man. You know, and you could tell. You know, wasn't he? Well, I shouldn't say kid, but kid to me. You know, 37, 38 years old. He's like, there. He says, well, the water line's backed up. You know, he says it's got to be something clogged. And I says, yeah, what would possibly clog it? And he says, it's got to be bugs. Something got in that condensed line. I says, yeah, that would make sense. You know, he says, some box of the bugs. That's what it is. He says, I think. You know, and so he's like, right here, it looks like it's right on the elbow. The kid, you know, he'd seen this before. Sure shit, took it off, sure shit, bees nest. Old bees nest wasp. Now, we get a lot of wasps here in the last few years. That's an evolution, too. So, okay, no biggie, just cleans it out, puts it on, fires it right back up, and he's like, and I says, you guys were supposed to come do maintenance on this last October. How come you never came? You called me and said you were supposed to be here in October. Never came. You probably would have found this. Yeah, why didn't they come? He says. And then he says, you know, that's odd. And he's checking. He says, God, you know what's really odd? This furnace is, I thought you said this furnace was installed last fall of 24. I says, it was. He says, it's a 2010 model. I'm like, what? You sure? I says, where's the codes on? He says, oh, all the codes are right there. I says, well, let me write them down. So I said, well, he says, no, I'll check again. He says, I check. And he says, yeah, it's a 2010. And I'm like, you guys got a fucking problem on your hands. That's fraud. He knew it. So you got a 2010 furnace that obviously was out of the box because there was that ding, and that's why there was a bee's nest, and it sat around in the warehouse for 4 years. Couldn't sell it. This guy's got freaking leukemia. I'm like, you got to fucking... And then he tries to charge me. They're going to say, I says, you're not charging me shit. You know, we're going to, you know, I'll do some YouTube videos. I'm going to go to the, you know, I'm just going to sue you. I says, tell the judge this one. I can imagine this in jail, in a court, saying, you know, he scammed an AML leukemia. He knew I had AML leukemia. He knew if I, well, I mean, really, so you got a furnace that's been sitting around that couldn't sell something. it was obviously damaged or whatever, so they'd sit around the warehouse or whatever, and he's worked a deal with somebody on it. You know, what's it worth? Maybe 20% on the free market. I mean, you could probably put it on eBay and get 20% of retail. Maybe. Because we know, it's like I told him, that's like a car that's been sitting on the lot for 4 years. You sell it as a 2016, what it's a 2010. We know things that when they sit for a long time, like bees' nests in it. So I make phone calls. I call the wholesaler. Well, God, I don't know what call. So I call the wholesaler. Well, he blames it on the wholesaler. So I call the wholesaler. We can't give any. I said, oh, you can't give any information? Okay, I got you. Okay. Whatever. So try calling the Armstrong, the manufacturer, on hold for 40 minutes. You know how that goes. 3 people and outsource. It's all made in China. You know, it's amazing. And then they got a call center. You just link through. That's, you know, some people in India or wherever. America's been shaken down. America goes for it. It's free market fairy tales. The free market will clean it up. Like Fukushima, the free market will clean it up. Free market fairy tales. Send our jobs to China. Oh, that worked out nice. So, like, whatever. I guess I'm going to have to sue the fuckers. You know, my attorney, fuck, that guy's a piece of fucking work anymore. So, I'll just file a small claim suit against the fuckers. I'm like, so, the dispatcher, whoever their girl is, calls me, hey, we're scheduled for an appointment. I said, scheduled for an appointment today? Maintenance. A little late for that, isn't it? You were supposed to come in October. Well, we're coming out to maintenance the furnace today. We should have been there in October. And I'm like, you guy was out fixing it yesterday. No, you scumbags aren't coming near my fucking property. No, you're not. And you got my credit card. You're charging me by the month. I says, wow, you guys are some doozies on a so-called maintenance agreement. Wow. I says, not only am I going to sue you, I says, this is criminal in my mind. This is blatant fraud. Don't you understand that? You know, and this is just the girl, so, you know, I said, just relay the message. I know it's not you that surely did this, but that's the problem. These guys get away with it and get away with it and get away with it, just like bad cops doing all this stuff. They get away. There's no accountability in this country anymore. You can't stand up to the machine. So because they know, oh, you got to sue, if they find out. How many times has he done this? Obviously before, but nobody knows. And then they're, oh, well, okay, you're right. It's just as good as one 4 years old. And that was his line. Well, the warranty doesn't start till. I'm like, what? We know. Come on, I was a contract for all these years. Fucking something that sits around for 4 fucking years that doesn't get used. Of course, it goes bad. That's what fucking happens to your automobiles. Go park your automobile for 4 years and try to restart it and see how fucked up it is. You know, it's fraud. It's fucking fraud. But that's the fucking way it is here. And they know, so you know, got to hire an attorney to go to court, take your chances with some fucking, you know, Mormon fucking liar judge, you know, fucking try. So they roll the dice. They know they can get away because they're trapped. Because it's a sales usury economy. And in the usury economy, you don't get up, go to work, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, the plasterer, the fucking carpenter. You don't go make something, go home, you know, do your gig like the fucking world was forever. Feel good about what you produce, feel good about your job, make some decent fucking money, raise your family, have a good fucking life. Like it was when we grew up. Oh, no. This is Lottery America. Look, you're going to win. If the lottery does not prove to you what a fucking fairy tale America's turned into. Really? They changed the rules on the lottery. They changed the rules to make this happen because California lottery sales were down. So they changed they went to the red fucking lottery number. I'm a statistics guy. Increase the probability of this happening going over $1 billion from like fucking 3% to 68%. They know what they're doing. Lottery America, and America's, you go up, no one from Utah's ever fucking won this thing, and they'll line up because they don't sell lottery tickets in Utah. On the Wyoming fucking Idaho, and these little stores, fucking people will line up by fucking hundreds deep. That's how sick America is. This is how America's bought into the Cinderella fucking society. You're gonna marry a prince. You're gonna play with that fucking ball. 1 in a million. You're gonna be that 1 in a million. You're gonna be that one that beats cancer because I'm that. And look, there was a stat that came out a few years ago that said that 80% of people on Social Security still believe they're going to be millionaires. America's bought into the fairy tale, and that's exactly what it is. It's a fairy tale. And by the way, there's plenty of statistics that show people that do win lotteries. 85% of them lives are worse off than they were just 18 months previous. They don't know how. I mean, throw that kind of sum of money into it. Young athletes, it's been proven over and over. In more cases than not, it destroys lives because you don't know how to handle it, and you think, oh, I can handle it, whatever. That kind of money changes your human psychology. How could it not? You're only human. It's a sickness that becomes. You know, your whole lifestyle goes into this madness. Your type of women, men, you're hanging around, the whole fucking people, the passive-aggressive fucking liars and cheaters who think everybody's got a fucking gig. But people have been forced into life. They got mortgages, they got a wife, they got kids, they've all cars, and so scam America. It's okay. It's okay. Everybody's doing it. It's all the rage. Same with the marine biologist. So you think about it. You work for the government. You're a marine biologist. You work for the DNR. You work for any of these government agencies. You're a marine biologist at Stanford, at Berkeley, at freaking, all these institutions. By the way, Stanford is not private. It's been proven over and over. 80% of their funding still comes from the taxpayer. They call them. It's a shakedown. So all these government handouts. So what are you? Welfare queens? Like the Department of Agriculture, the Department of the Treasury, the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Monsanto, the Department of Treasury, the Department of Goldman Sachs. They're all captured. So all you people that work in the marine biology department, you're an academia professor at a state university, or even a private university for that matter. You're a marine biologist. You get federal grants. And by the way, I can tell you why you're not hearing the fishing industry scream out of Alaska, because there's only one. The fishing industry is just like the other industries. It's all funneled up to one company runs the whole thing. What is it? Alaska, whatever. Fish, the guy that lives in Irvine that tried to build the house way up, and Irvine said he couldn't build it over there. They're coved in Irvine Cove, so they built it 3-4 stories under. That guy. I'll tell you why. Look it up. Every single congressional budget annually, yeah, it's got bailouts for the fishing industry in it. For real. Bailouts. Multi-million-dollar fucking bailouts. It's in there. Like I said, it's pork. You turn on these government programs, you can't turn them off. The military industrial complex becomes the economy because we send all the fucking jobs to China. And if you don't think this free market has not been a giant failure, you're a fucking ignorant fool. Look at the trading balance. Oh, unemployment rate's strong. Look at the fucking participation rate, the lowest in the history of this country. So the construction worker, I was a stucco contractor for all those years. Fuck, in the 80s, I was getting $4 a foot. All cement, whatever. It's going for $2 a foot, and it's all exploitation. You're taking a hungry fucking people from the fucking South, who we never had a border, because if you employed illegals in the hotel industry and the food industry, which everybody does, you got locked up. It's against the law. The IRS would get you. The IRS would get you. Why doesn't the IRS get you? I talked to an IRS agent. He was at the university and was recruiting. I said, well, it's hard to prove an account. No, it's not. You can do it like that. These people are claiming this as labor on their fucking time. It's really easy. You have the method. You can use the asset method. Why don't you use it? Because they like it just the way it is. Both sides. Because, look, who are your politicians? They're all millionaires. That's who ended up running. Now, why would millionaires run for a fucking public office to be a public servant? Because they're not public fucking anymore. Congressmen and senators, they know they have the ability to fucking loot. And so who goes there? The narcissistic greed. You got billionaires running for fucking Congress, billionaires running for Senate, because they understand once they got the fucking keys, they can loot, pillage, rob, and fucking rape, and there's no accountability. Because, look, people are not involved in their community. We don't have good investigative journalism anymore. It used to be, fuck, the taxpayers' fucking money was being thieved and said, fuck, the local newspaper, the local television, they're all over them. People were showing up to fucking meetings. I go to the Energy Solutions hearing, I'm bringing the depleted uranium to Utah, the public hearing. I'm the only one there. The congressional hearings we had on the nuclear waste, we held congressional fucking hearings, streamed online. 2 congressmen put it on. They scanned the camera around the fucking Senate hall. There's 2 people there. No media coverage, no public, no fucking watchdogs, no media, no Congress, no AIDS, no nobody. Fuck it. They don't care. It's not in vogue. Yeah, you'll get all hyped up about these. They know this. They played it to you. Guns, gold, gays. Guns, gold, gays. Homosexual marriage. Gay marriage. You know, you got what the fuck is that going to affect anybody? You know, it's like I told my one buddy in the village near. I says, you know, God, you have the right to be miserable just like everybody else. But I'm one of these hippie marriages. I don't believe the state should be involved in any marriage, although it does give away to track you, but whatever. But I understand there's, you know, Social Security checks, there's retirement, there's different things. I get that. I understand that. You know, but the whole thing, these hot button issues. I mean, guns, my God. I mean, you can buy all the fucking guns you want. You can't use them. I mean, all they're going to do is get you in trouble. Because if you use one, you have a gun in your hand, and look at all these situations proven over and over and over and over and over. Domestic violence, any situation comes. If there's a gun involved, fucking the SWAT team comes. They don't care about your dogma. You think, well, I'm on the side of police. They don't care because they have no sides. It's them against the world, and they've been indoctrinated. They think it's us against them. That's what they think, you know, because we've empowered them. Firefighters, you know, they're empowered. They don't, I mean, what? They're heroes? Don't they get paid by the taxpayer? You know, it's like military personnel. You fucking, I got friends who are National Guard. They says, we get sick of hearing that people come over to thank you. For what? I do this for a fucking job. I repair airplanes. I'm not a fucking hero. I get paid a lot of money to do this. You know, and then victims, the actual ground soldiers, the Marines and the Army that actually fight these fucking wars. I mean, we know historically what happens to them. The guy who actually sees combat, those poor fuckers. I mean, did not Vietnam prove anything to us? Korea? Those people are a fucking psychological mess. How could you not be? You're only human. You think you're above it. Oh, fuck Ted Nugent. If I'd have won, I'd have killed a lot of people. To kill another human being? Are you kidding? Or, you know, it's not all sides to pass. Do you know what kind of fucking psychological I mean, you know what a fucking step that is? Just leaving guys say we're going to protect your house from what? You know, you really want to kill another person? My God, what a burden to fucking carry. Oh, my God, what a burden. And like I said, if the guys won't prove it to you, go talk to any of them. God, really, the guy who's head of them right here, Bobby, my friend, he's an amazing dude. He's been head of the fucking Veterans Affairs for fucking decades. He and I are friends. And fuck, he was in, you know, I asked him the other day, I says, how accurate is platoon? Oh, to a T. He sees it. He says, fuck. He tells me stories, you know, because he works with all these guys. And I've worked with the Marines for years. I volunteered my whole life. My whole life I volunteered. You know, I volunteered, and I still do it. I volunteer in the vets to be the liaison with the young Marines, you know, and I talk to them. And by the way, at the vets here, so many Marines come in with leukemia. You know, it's so heartbreaking. They sprayed white phosphorus on their own men. And so, you know, I talk to them and I sit with them. And I mean, I've always been involved in that community my whole life. It's so fucking heartbreaking because they got them amped up. You know, when they went into Iraq, you know, they had them on meth. It's a fucking fact. Got them amped up, fucking go days, fucking wound up, you know, fed them these fucking lies, blah, blah, and they got them amped up. Then they come home and they fucking, reality fucking sets in. You know, it's like that young man in front of the White House who threw down his coat. You know, I'm glad, what's his name, found the video and put it up. How emotional was that? Wow, I was the referee in the middle of those two young, beautiful Marines. It really made me cry. What are we doing to our fucking people? What are we doing to our youth? I mean, my father fucking defended me. Not this. ISIS is not going to kill you. I got news for everybody. No terrorist is going to kill you. It's all made up hyperbole bullshit. There is no fucking terrorists in this country. There are none. Well, they're terrorists, but they're not fucking Muslim radicals. They're bankers and hair-sprayed church leaders. Joel Osteen, you know, Alan Greenspan, politicians, lobbyists, board members, television news desk. Oh, they're the terrorists. Because what's going to kill you? Cancer. It's amazing, like, you think that Medicaid, I was on Medicaid. And I'm telling you, that system is so efficient. Medicaid on my disease, animal leukemia, they don't fucking ask the doctor. They tell what treatment you're getting, and they tell what fucking payment. No, you're not doing this to him today. It's unnecessary. And they're very good, and we followed the protocol. Here I am. And so I saw bills, because I'm talking to other people. I saw bills, what their bill was and my bill was. I'm like, really? Your insurance is being billed fucking 10 times what fucking Medicaid's being billed? We got the same treatment? I mean, because it's come big business. Huntsman, he advertised all over, the luxury good of death. Huntsman Chemical, styrofoam containers, that's the big Utah guy here. I mean, you think about that. Think about that. Huntsman fucking cancer it's the second biggest industry in the state of Utah, behind tourism. Everybody thinks they're the luxury, they're the best ever. They're not. Look them up, they don't even rank in the top 100 in treatment. They're a fraud. Our hospital, you ought to hear them, which are marquee doctors. Okay, so is it Fred Davis at Washington, the guy who invented the bone marrow transplant, University of Washington. The Hickman line was invented at the University of Washington. They recruited these doctors from around the world, including in Denmark, these best young doctors in the world. So that's where they came. Then they got recruited at the University of Utah, and they're like, fuck you. That's who runs LDS. They're foreign doctors. They're people from all over. It's a team. It's Danish philosophy. You got to hear them. You got to hear them talk about Huntsman. They're like, oh, my God. The luxury good of death. They advertise. So I'm in San Diego all the time. I'm all over in these, places. Turn on the local TV in whatever room I'm staying in, and I've stayed in some dumpy-ass hotels and hostels. Oh, boy. Because, I've done this on very little fucking money. So, I stay where I got to do. I just sleep there anyway. It's a big deal. It's worked out good. I sort of happy that everybody has supported my trip. Being Lonnie, everybody, the work that we did is so historical. And thank God that we did it. And, it's a team effort. Our work's a team effort. I'm the vehicle because I'm willing to do the work, and I'm the activist, and it's my path. I know the dynamic like no other, and so I'm able to do it, and I just do it. And so thank God we've done it, documenting this historically. So it's like, for instance, in the state of Utah, in a lot of places. There's very good reason, historically, the laws were set in this country that you had to list the cause of death. And I'll tell you what, and you had to put it in a publication, by law, and a death certificate on the corner by law, because it could be seen in court. So researchers and PhDs and different people, the government couldn't lie to them. They could go backtrack into obituaries, and they could track, oh, this guy died of this, here's the death certificate, this guy did it. So Utah knows that. Utah has a suicide epidemic, and if they didn't lie, they would know. They have the pill overdose epidemic, the biggest in the fucking world. They have suicide that could be the biggest in the world. They have a cancer rate that could be the biggest in the world. But it's all tourism. So they've changed the laws, which illegally they've changed. You don't have to list the cause of death anymore. And so these suicides aren't being called suicides. It's like my friend who just passed out. I knew him. He's my age. I pick up the newspaper. Dies from natural causes. Well, I saw him not very long ago. Perfectly healthy. That's not natural cause. You don't die at 55 of natural causes. Suicide? Maybe. Pill overdose? Maybe. Most likely. So we need to know these numbers. It's important, but that's how they play, because they're all above it. And it's all God's will? No, it's not God's will. Anybody that says that's a fool. If it's God's will, I want to ask every single person that says that, then why the fuck did they put you on Earth? If this is all a master plan to suck air and earth crawl, to go to TGIS and fucking eat and fucking get your fucking serfdom fucking job, go to Vegas, fucking go your fucking vacation to Mexico, all inclusive, to drive your shiny coffin back for, why did he put you on Earth then? If it's God's will. Tim Shell, thou mayest, that means men are responsible for their actions. That comes right out of the Old Testament. All these philosophies, men are responsible. I believe it's a test. Now, God, I don't know what God is. I mean, I have belief systems. Do I believe Jesus was a real man? Yeah, I think he probably was. Was he the son of a virgin? I have no idea. But the story is pretty powerful who he was. Threw the money changers out of the temple with a wimp. Anti-usury. I mean, the guy got it. The dude, the story has go up, well, was he a real guy? I think it's probably pretty unarguable he was a real dude. Brown-haired, brown freaking poor Jew. heal the afflicted, feed the poor. Somebody says, oh, he was an anarchist. I says, no, he was a socialist. Radical. Oh, boy, was he radical. Oh, yeah. It's like everybody says, oh, your fucking language is say this in the name of fucking Christianity. I'm like, do you know anything about the prophet Jeremiah? Do you know anything about these books? The Bible's an almanac. How many people wrote it? You know, God didn't write it. You know, was they have God giving them light to write it? Maybe. You know, all these books say the same thing, and all this religious philosophy, we've lost our ways. We've hijacked it. What we've turned Christianity is the opposite. It's no different than fascism in Italy. It's exactly the same. Now, look, I don't work in Italy. Fascism was born by Mussolini in Italy. Well, he joined the corporations with the police forces. Now, remember, you talk to people in Austria as I'm over there. By the way, I'll be talking here in a minute about my beautiful friend Frida. Her, on the 11th, the same day my dad died, was her funeral. And here's the difference between here and there. The great anti-nuclear activists. Who spoke at her funeral? Oh, the president of the country. You know, not only did she block the reactor from being fueled single-handedly, she blocked that incredible Danube. I mean, the Danube, my God, what a river. She blocked the dam. I mean, so here an activist, are you kidding? You kidding? You know, the President of the United States was he'd probably order him killed, which we know that's happened. I mean, Snowden released a document saying just that. So these stories fold out as far as religious leaders. They're based on good versus evil, right versus wrong. So what have we done to so-called Christianity? We just made it fit whatever we want in our selfish, indulged lifestyles. Joel Osteen, oh, the prosperity gospel. Jesus want me to rich, 33 million. Look what we've done in nonprofit. It's all shakedown, a scam. They've backdoored every fucking law. We're using slaves to sell. I mean, total immoral, total against all I believe. And then we're saying that we're Christians, the great Christian. What? What? It's so outrageous. It's so disgusting. It's such a lie because it's pure selfish. Animals don't have the ability to be selfish. So you think about, so you're the marine biologist. It used to be to get a PhD. That's historically what a PhD's always been. Which is Latin. You had to actually do at least 3 years work in the field. You had to create a new intelligence, a new way of thinking, a new information, a new reality. You had to identify it. That's what I've done over the last few years. These guys, it's all peer review. So you find somebody and they just, keep going to school, keep going to school, and so nobody's doing any work. So what does that mean? They're regurgitating old information. That's not a PhD, but they call themselves PhDs. Just so they call themselves a scientist when they're not a scientist. So then they'll come out and say, well, scientists are baffled, scientists are puzzled, scientists are mystified, scientists are stumped because they're not scientists. Ken Buser says it perfectly. Ken will say it. There's nobody studying the ocean. We give so much shit, but at least he puts his name out there. These other guys, Jay Collin comes out and says, and a bunch of other ones, that he has access to stuff. Oh, really? When Ken says there is no freaking data. And I know that the scientific community does not have access to the USS Navy, which they're the ones that have it. They don't have that. Now, Aaron Swartz broke into MIT protesting just this. Now, so we have General Electric moving to Boston. Why would General Electric move to Boston? Circling the wagons. We know this whole dog and pony show is run out of MIT Media Lab, MIT, and Harvard. We know that's where the whole this whole, globalist regime, that's where it's run out of. If you don't believe me, look up when Abe came to the United States. Now, this is the Prime Minister of Japan. A lot of people would love to see him. People turn out. There's protesters from, China. There's protesters from Korea. I mean, you got to realize what the Japanese did to the Chinese for centuries. What they did to the Philippines for centuries. What they did, Teddy won a real Nobel Prize for stopping that. So he goes to Harvard, and unannounced, because the protocol is always there. When a foreign dignitary comes here, they lay the protocol way out in front, where they're going, where they're going to see. So people can come see him. That's the United States. What? Unannounced, all of a sudden, he sneaks over to MIT Media. Why would the Prime Minister of Japan, all the places he could go in the United, go to MIT Media Lab? Oh, they're running the cover-up of Fukushima. Why Charles pushed down from the head of the Department of Energy, so Ernst Moxie is placed. Okay, so the Million Mass March, we're there, 2013. Being interviewed by RT. RT's doing the work. By the way, he died during the Million Mass March. Had a heart attack. Awful fishy. The head of RT. By the way, you know Al Jazeera's is done because they said the word Fukushima. So it goes to MIT Media Lab. So while we're in front of the White House, you can't make this shit up. We get an email. I get some news from Bobby One's blog. I mean, because I got teed up by Ralph Nader's people, not Nader. Nader's fake hippies in the Raider House, which are a bunch of dirty freaking liar hippies that claim to be activists, teed me up, asked me to come there, almost killed me. I'm sleeping on a park bench. So they come save me. Bobby One and his crew, Carolina Lamb, come save me out of the blue. Thank God. So he says, look at this, Kevin. This just pops up on the internet. Ernest Moxie Fuels at Fukushima, unannounced. I'm like, what the fuck? The executives of TEPCO have been sanctioned to the White House today. I said, Bobby, drive me over to the Department of Energy. That's where he's going to go first. So, you ever seen the Department of Energy in D.C.? It dwarfs. You take the Treasury, the Agriculture, all these, combine them by 10 times, you still don't meet this beast, and it's all nuclear. Little teeny door, you can't even find the door. So I go in, there's a video, they tell me I got to leave, blah, 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 blah. So, I get nowhere inside there. So I'm asking all of people, well, where's TEPCO going to be today? So we're over being interviewed in front of them, and there's some young activists over there with us, with the Million Mass March group. They're like, Kevin, here they come, here they come. So I run over there, I got their cell phones. Here it comes. I says, are the Japanese in the limos? Yes. So we're over there by, right as they're going in. Wow, small place. We got videos of it. Sure shit, there they go right in. Then the next day, an activist on a screenshot off the live cam catches an F-16. It looks like, it's a fighter jet, flying very low there, which that's there. We know because, I've had many people in the Air Force. My uncle, the fighter pilot, I asked him, he says, oh yeah, they're running it through there to get the readings. So they retooled the whole cleanup of Fukushima. So that's when we knew right then, oh God, what they were doing before didn't work. It didn't work. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. So, because right before that, remember when I did my walk in New York City and Washington Square, my post-citizens walk, and I timed it for the sentencing of Megan Rice, and there was going to be congressional hearings in D.C., so that's why I scheduled them in. I was working with Barbara Boxer's office, and Barbara Boxer called for congressional hearings. So what they were going to do, because of the accident that happened at San Onofre, that I'm the one that announced that to the world, this accident at San Onofre nuclear generator happened in January of 2012. Some whistleblowers from inside were leaking stuff to me. I was in critical condition, dying in the bone marrow transplant center there. And I started sending them to media, and, anyway, it got out. So Barbara Boxer's office is all over this, and they're calling because she's head of the committee. She's calling for hearings. So they combined the hearing on Fukushima and San Onofre together. It was scheduled for the week of September 28, 2013. So I scheduled my gig there because I wanted to go to D.C. I just jump on the train, go to D.C. from New York, and then Megan Rice was going to be sentenced the same week. Perfect time, be in New York, Washington Square, we'll do our gig. All of a sudden, I get an email from Barbara Boxer's office. Kevin, the congressional hearings are off. What do you mean off? They've been pushed to the secret ones. You know about those. That's in the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act, they can push these hearings underground where there's no media. So what's the use of a hearing? Exactly. Mission accomplished. The Patriot Act, no Constitution, over. A republic with a Constitution? Not now. Gone. Hasta la vista, baby. Police state fascism. Wow. So, in Italy, when this all went down, they combined it. So just like here. So Mussolini created a police force, just like in Austria. You talk to people in Austria, how could you guys all go, we did. Oh, yeah, we stood there, I think, because if you did, they killed you. So they created the same thing as we have here, what they'll call booty laws here. So the cops and the police now can kick down your door and raid your end. They'll get a no-knock warrant, and can rob your house and pillage your house. You can get pulled in the car, they take your cash, whatever, they get to keep it. Look it up. Same thing happened to the SS. So, and Mussolini started to hire goons to be police. And he gave them the right to go into people's homes. And go into those people's homes, drag people out, rob their homes, shake them down, and made it totally legal. And who became the police force? Goons. Same thing happened in Austria. So now here everybody says, well, yeah, we're not going to let that happen. We're going to get our gun. They don't do it that way now. So you've seen people, look it up all over. I mean, it happens in every state and every city. Some kind of situation happens, they decide to come rob you. Matthew Stewart right around the corner here. Had a marijuana plant. I was in the hospital almost dead. Kicked his door down and pulls the gun. They don't even ask questions. It's on. You know, they didn't kill him, almost kill him, but he starts shooting, they start shooting, people die for no reason. And they're all, because they think he's a drug dealer and they know they get to keep the money. There's an incentive, just like it was in fascism, Italy. They go into the, why do you think they went into these Jews' homes? They knew that they had money stashed. They get to keep it. Go ahead and rob and pillage, which went on. It went on in Italy. It went in Austria big time. You empowered a police force, and you got a police force that was no more, it was not part of the community. They weren't police. Just like here, now they call them law enforcement. I thought courts. I thought we had a constitution. If you look up the Constitution, those amendments protect your rights as far as this. Right to a speedy trial, right to freaking not testify against yourself, you know, right to a freaking boom, boom attorney, right, boom, 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 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. There's the reason those are there. They're gone now. So they create this police state where the police they're not part of the community anymore. They are it's them against the people. It's called fascism. Fascism supported the corporate looters. Go to New York. For instance, you occupy Wall Street. I was at Flood Wall Street. You should have seen that freaking police gun. What, with 212 arrests, there's videos. Look at my videos. Look at my videos right there in front of Hamilton's grave. Look at that police force. They call them white shirts. They call them the goons. Ask people freaking have Occupy when they started going to Jamie Nine's house. So they're not police. They're fascism. They protect the Wall Street looters. They protect the money criminals. Same with the military. The military is not what Hamilton hypothesized, or it is, here's what he said. Hamilton says, for it is naive to not believe our vast natural resources will not be attacked by a foreign land. Thus, we have to have a militia to protect our borders. George Washington, stat of foreign policy, we just need to protect our borders. But we don't do that now. We're invaders. So, who do they protect? Who does the United States military protect? Okay, and I can prove it environmentally. BP. We have a gigantic reserves. That's what, read up what reserves are supposed to be for national crisis, to move into the communities, whatever. Not for martial law, like BP. To go in and still BP, when these corporations, I mean, to protect our environment, to protect our people, to protect our country, our community. Do they do that? Look at the methane leak that's going in L.A. Do they do that? No. What is our military now? They're paid mercenaries. Which is sad because we pay them. Isn't that the way it's supposed to work? The taxpayer pays them, he pays the military, he pays the police because he works for me. They work for me. They work for us, right? They're part of us. We're paying them, right? They're part of us. They understand they're public servants, right? They choose to be a public servant. They're academia professor. They're public servants, right? They're marine biologists funded by the freaking taxpayer. They're public servants, right? Not now. It's called serfdom. It's neo-feudalism. Evolved into fascism. Who do they protect? They protect me. They protect global elitists that don't even live in this country for the most part. That's who they protect. They're their enforcers. The police protect the Wall Street looters. The police protect any looter, any criminals with big money. There's two sets. Look, if you don't think people get away with murder that are rich, you know nothing. Look at Spectre. How many did he have to kill before he finally went? How many of these wealthy guys literally get away with murder? Look at Derkowitz. It's amazing. Get away with pedophilia, get away with, look at the Catholic Church. So they protect it. How many of those priests were prosecuted? What? for raping children? What? None of them? And you think you live in a country with a constitution? This country, we had a hell of a country when we were kids, in a lot of ways. Nuclear was evolving, yeah. The evil was going, and there was evil men. But there's people who stood up with integrity. Lots of people, most people. My dad, I mean, Rachel Carson, John Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King. We can go on and on and on and on and on. You know, great actors, Ralph Nader. People stood up. Newspaper reporters. We had hundreds of them at the local community. The local activists showed up to his local, you know, county commissioner meeting. You know, our mayor didn't make anything here. Mayors didn't make anything. Now the mayor makes 100, 200 grand a year. You know, police chiefs making 200,000-300,000 years when they just 2 decades ago were making 30 grand. You know, academia professors tripling salaries, marine biologists quadrupling salaries, and none of them do anything. And they don't protect the people. They're not of the people. That's what the Constitution says. We. That's the first word says we. We're not we anymore because we become selfish and we've bought into the lottery America. We're going to win the lottery. Look what just happened. Do you know what a scam the fucking lottery is? What a scam. And people are, I mean, it's pure fairy tales. Well, I'm going to be one. No, now I'm going to be one in a billion. Wow. Johnny, you're going to play in the NBA. The NCAA Slave League, which is nothing more than a slave league. Those kids are not there to get us. I mean, you think those kids most of them come from the urban setting, sell them a fucking pipe dream, you know, and they buy into the NBA and the NFL, which just feeds this madness. You build the stadiums, you do whatever, they loot, they're nonprofit, and they sell these kids a dream. That's what it is. You know, one in thousands, many thousands. You know, sad. That's what everybody's bought into. You're going to be the next Cinderella. You're going to win the lottery. You're going to be the next King James. Who'd want it? Who would want to be one of those fuckers? You know what money does to people? I mean, it's been proven over and over and over what money, that kind of money, what it does to people. Look what it did to Greenpeace. Look what it did to Sierra Club. Look what it does to everybody. Look what it did to Al Gore. Look what it does to all these fucking people. Look what it did to Barack Obama. Look what it did to Bill Clinton. Of course, Bill Clinton, I think, probably came from, you know, if you believe his daddy was just this hillbilly CI guy that got killed in a car wreck, just pregnant someone with Arkansas, you got another thing coming. You know, Rockefeller's baby, he's connected somewhere. I mean, it's amazing these places they find these evil rats. Bill Walmart Clinton. Ross Perot said it. Oof. And boy, they shut him up, didn't they? Free market has been a disaster. There's freaking 7 billion people on Earth. Slavery's legal. What do you think the TPP is? Label origin. When I was in Canada, guess what it says? So you want to buy something that says Canada, but you're not about to buy something that says, in Canada it's legal, they say. The tags, you know what they say? Sold in Canada. United States has country of origin. Vietnam, they have to say it. TPP is going to get rid of that, which they've already done a lot of food. So you think you're getting food? I mean, think about who knew that apple juice, 70-80% of the apple juice in the United States, who knew that's coming in from China? It's making this. There's no food inspector. Free market fairy tales. Let's cut that. Cut that yet. And these serfdom. So you got all these people working in serfdom who work for us. They don't, you know, I tell them right then, do your fucking job. You work for us. You're public servants. Do your job, you marine biologists. None of them, most of them, 99% of the marine biologists have never been on the ocean. You know, you look up the San Diego State guy. Look at that guy. He's got this long hair and he's on a boat like he's a kid. You know, and he's like, yeah, look at me. You know, it's big party to him. They'll study anything. They go through peer review, get a PhD. They got this big ivory glass tower they sit on. Not my words. The ex-marine biologist at the Monterey Aquarium who met me there. Without her and her husband and my reporting, we would never know that the Greys were giving birth at Monterey. They go out there for their love of the ocean. She says, it used to be what we did. She says, I was on the front page of the LA Times, you know, because I love the ocean. That's what it used to be. I went into the marine biologist world because I love the ocean. Very, very old. Volunteered at the aquarium. Wonderful woman. Amazing man. I talked to them both. They volunteered there. Both ex-marine biologists. Told me right to my face. My son and daughter are both marine biologists at major universities in California. Kevin, they don't care. It's just, yeah, welcome to America. Welcome to the baby boomer. They're there for the money. And there's no accountability. Because we're selfish. The most grotesque, selfish culture of people in the history. So you got this mass off. All the Muirs starved to death. I can go on and on, which I documented. I kept saying everybody called me a liar. Fuck, you're full of shit. Oh, really? Oh, really? You know, now it's global warming. Well, number one, global warming, okay, is a gradual thing. This is very hardcore acute. Global warming gradually is not going to make every freaking antelope, half the freaking population just drop dead in Kazakhstan. That's an environmental poison acute situation. Something happened over there. My guess is nuclear fallout leaked, and who knows what they're experimenting. Same when the sheep in 1968, they lied at Dugway. Just like the eagles all dropped dead here. They're staggered. Oh, it's West Nile. No, it's not. They were feeding on the grebes. The grebes just all died. They're historic birds, just like the Muirs. Just all dead. Starving to death. The grebes here didn't starve to death. What killed them? I call it plutonium. I think it's unarguable. Now they're calling 69. You think Medicaid's got to figure it out? That's where they'll cut you off on a bone marrow transplant. Only right after 69th birthday. You know how many people I know that have died right of leukemia right after in 69? A young 69. Says, well, he had the bad heart. That's not the cancer. That's Dick Cheney. These are multimillionaires. These are millionaires that have the access to the best care in the fucking world. He dies at 69 yesterday. Incredible physical condition. The 25-year-old in Lithuania, I mean, it's on. It's happening. I mean, you talk to anybody. Everybody knows so many people, and nobody will stand up to, oh, it's God's way. You know, they're taught not to fight back. I'm here to tell you. Fight the people that gave it to you. You know, a lot of people pull back to me, and I says, fuck you, I'm fighting the nuclear cartel. They gave me, fuck you, they're not going to kill me without a fight. Fuck them. These people, no, you know, you can't be like that. What do you mean? The doctors try to get you like that. They want you. We have billboards along Utah from our hospital. Sometimes you have to fight back because we're taught not to, especially women. It's very sad. I've had enablers, spouses. I had a couple different women that wanted to get involved with me and my blog. They were fighting for their lives, and their husbands wouldn't let them. Oh, no, they're doing good. You know, Jan, Carla, both of them's husbands would not let them. You know, I'm the one that talked them into starting their blogs, and they both had blogs. And they both wanted to get intense and fight with me, and I said, come on, let's go do some. Husbands wouldn't let them. Because I guess that kind of control. You know, fuck them. This is your life. This is your life. Defend your life. Defend your children's life. Defend the children's world. Defend the animals. Fucking marine biologists. You know, money. Yeah, whatever. Puzzled, muzzled, fucking disease. Fuck. Pathetic. This is the greatest fucking genocide of an ecosystem in the history of mankind. Just happened post-Fukushima. I said they're dumping plutonium in the fucking ocean. Look it up. Every day. I did a video on day 6. I did videos every day. And the day it happened, I'm still doing them. It says, why am I fighting fucking, you know, it's going to give you leukemia, I get leukemia. Watch the whole path. They're dumping plutonium in the Pacific Ocean. They're going to genocide the Pacific Ocean. They're going to give you leukemia. They're going to leukemia. They're going to fucking, this is going to be the greatest ecological catastrophe. It's going to kill the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean is going to be genocide. And I never said it was going to kill everything in the Pacific Ocean. You know me, I've been optimistic. I've always said she's going to fight back. You're no match for her, the mighty blue lady. That's what I've said. I fight for her. She fights for me. I hypothesized all this in a logical way, and everybody pulled back on this guy's crazy. He says, fuck. He goes fucking nuts. Fuck him. He's fucking full of shit. Oh, am I? Oh, fucking Cassandra's son, I call myself. Wow. It's unbelievable, this path, this journey. It's fucking sad. I hoped I was fucking wrong the whole time, but I wasn't wrong. The calling's on. These fucking arrogant fuckers think they're above it. You know, they chose money to protect that fucking nuclear industry, which is a fucking disaster. Fucking Einstein was right. It's a fucking joke. Just going to destroy the fucking earth. There's no benefit whatsoever of nuclear power to any human being. It has not advanced society. It has killed society. It's just simply boiling the earth's water with uranium. There's no magic about it. You start the reaction, fucking it boils the earth's water over and over and over. It's expensive. It's outrageous. It's mass murder. Fucking wake the fuck up. The emperor has no fucking clothes. 2 plus 2 is still fucking 4 when stand tuning. Fucking corrupt America, you self-indulge. I mean, what a fucking place we live, huh? Fucking. Me. Not gonna happen to me. Selfish America. stand
All
tuned.
nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical.